ਔਰ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਜੋ ਕਲਾਈਮੈਟਿਕ ਕੰਡੀਸ਼ਨਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਅਕੋਰਡਿੰਗਲੀ ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 2 ਵਾਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਮਾਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਵਕਤ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਫਾਡਰ ਦੀ ਸਕੇਰਸਿਟੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਸਾਈਲੇਜ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਸਰਾਹਨੀय ਕਦਮ ਹੈ, ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਇੱਕ ਅੱਛਾ ਸਟੈਪ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ 1986 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣਾ PAU ਤੋਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਡਿਗਰੀ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ BVSC ਐਂਡ AH, ਤੇ ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਈਲੇਜ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਦੀਆਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਉਸ ਵਕਤ ਸਿੱਖੀਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਤੇ 15-20 ਸਾਲ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੀਟਿੰਗਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਕੈਂਪਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਈਲੇਜ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਪਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਸੀ। ਪਰ ਪਿਛਲੇ 10 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਵੱਡੇ ਪੱਧਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਪਿੰਡਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਅਪਣਾਈ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰੈਸਿਵ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ ਅਪਣਾਈ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰੈਸਿਵ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਦਰਜੇ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਘੱਟ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਸ਼ੂ ਧਨ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਵਿਧੀ ਨੂੰ ਅਪਣਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਸ਼ੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਚੰਗੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਔਰ ਪਸ਼ੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਉਤਪਾਦਕਤਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਾਧਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈਗਾ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਵੀ ਅਗਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੈਬਿਨਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕੁਝ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਲੰਪੀ ਸਕਿਨ ਡਿਜ਼ੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਸਬਜੈਕਟ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਵੈਬਿਨਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਇਹ ਰਹੇ ਕਿ ਥਿਓਰੈਟੀਕਲ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀਡੀਓਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਪਿਕਚਰਸ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਾਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਲੀਨਿਕਸ 'ਚ ਕੇਸਿਸ ਆਏ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਆਡੀਓ ਵਿਜ਼ੂਅਲ ਏਡ ਬਣੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਡਿਜ਼ੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਡਾਇਗਨੋਸ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਪਾਸ ਇੱਕ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਕੱਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਇੱਕ ਪਿਕਚਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਮਾਈਂਡ 'ਚ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਪਿਕਚਰ ਦਾ ਜਿਸ ਐਨੀਮਲ ਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਟ੍ਰੀਟਮੈਂਟ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਆਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰ ਡਾਇਗਨੋਸਿਸ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪੂਰੀ ਆਸ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਵੈਬਿਨਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਭਰਾ, ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਵੈਟਨੇਰੀਅਨਸ ਲਾਹਾ ਲੈਣਗੇ। ਈਵਨ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਐਮਪਾਵਰਡ ਹੋਊਂਗਾ। I will try my best ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਰੁਝੇਵਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਕਸਿਮਮ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਪਾਰਟਿਸਿਪੇਟ ਕਰਾਂ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ।
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਖੋਸਲਾ ਜੀ। ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਦੱਸ ਹੀ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਵੈਬਿਨਾਰਸ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਲਗਭਗ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਰਿਕਾਰਡਿੰਗਸ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ YouTube ਚੈਨਲ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਉਹ ਅਪਲੋਡ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਕਿ ਵੈਬਿਨਾਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣਾ YouTube ਚੈਨਲ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਪਲੋਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੀਏ। ਸੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਓ, ਬੜੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ 2 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ YouTube ਚੈਨਲ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ। ਸੋ ਬੜਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਸ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ। 2 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਉਸ YouTube ਚੈਨਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 1000 ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ। ਸੇ ਵਾਕਈ ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਆਫਿਸਰਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਵਾਕਈ ਕਾਬਲੇ ਤਾਰੀਫ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਚੈਨਲ ਅਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਐਨੀਮਲ ਹਸਬੈਂਡਰੀ ਨਾਮ ਦਾ ਉਹ YouTube ਚੈਨਲ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਵੈਟਨੇਰੀਅਨਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਵੈਬਿਨਾਰ 'ਚ ਪਾਰਟਿਸਿਪੇਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ YouTube ਚੈਨਲ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਵੈਬਿਨਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰਨ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਜਸਪਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੁੰਦਲ ਜੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਬੜੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਵਰਕਰ ਵੀ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ COVID-19 ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵਰਕਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਦਿਖਾਈ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਕਿਤੇ ਉਹ ਮਾਸਕ ਵੰਡ ਰਹੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਤੇ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋੜਵੰਦ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਰੁੱਝੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਹੁੰਦਲ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਵੈਬਿਨਾਰ ਦੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰਨ। ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਲਗਭਗ ਸਾਰੇ ਵੈਟਨੇਰੀਅਨ ਹੀ ਹਨ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਅਦਰ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਦੇ ਵੈਟਨੇਰੀਅਨ ਵੀ ਹਨ ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਖਿਓ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਵੈਟਨੇਰੀਅਨ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਉਠਾ ਸਕਣ ਜੀ। ਡਾਕਟਰ ਹੁੰਦਲ ਜੀ।
Thanks, Dr. Mandeep ji. So, Honorable Dr. Sanjeev Khosla ji, Joint Director Sahab, and other officials, and my colleague Dr. Garewal ji. So, today we start with the topic that is silage making and silage quality. So, as Dr. Khosla said, we are living in the tropical climate and there are 2 seasons. And one season there is a lot of water is available and on other season there is a lean period. So if we preserve the fodder during the glut season, we can use this fodder during the lean period. But nowadays, silage making, it is a routine process. It's not like that. Our progressive farmers, they use this silage throughout the whole year to feed their high yield animals. So we start with the silage. What is basically silage, or how we can conserve or preserve the fodder? So there are two methods. Either you reduce the this level of moisture in the fodder, that is called hay, and secondly you reduce the pH of the fodder to preserve the fodder, and this method is called silage. So what is silage basically? What is the definition of a silage? So any crop or any forage or any agriculture or industrial byproduct that preserved by acids, either acids are produced artificially or by the natural preservation, and in the absence of air, that is called silage. And what is our goal? Our goal is to conserve the fodder with the maximum nutritional value. So this is our goal of silage making. So before we start with this ensiling technique, so there are three parameters which need to be addressed. One is the fodder, type of fodder to be used, stage of fodder to be used. Second is the silo, the type of silo, the type of infrastructure that should be used for preparation of the silage. And third is the method. What is the basic silage technology or silage preparation technique? So these are the three factors. So first coming to the fodder. So any fodder that has sugar level more than 2 to 3%, 2 to 3%. This is on the fresh basis. Or if we are talking about the dry matter basis, it is more than 10%. Why it is necessary? Because during fermentation, this sugar is converted into lactic acid. And this production of acid, it results in the decrease in the pH, and this production of acid and by decreasing in pH, this silage becomes stable and we can store it for a longer period. So the fodder that should be used for the silage making, it is high in sugar, or at least it contains more than 10% sugar on the dry matter basis. Next is low in protein and low in buffering capacity. What does it mean? So if it is high in protein, or if the mineral content is high, it means it has more buffering capacity. And if the buffering capacity is more, then the decline in pH, this buffering capacity, it resists the decline in pH. So it is difficult to preserve the silage if it has higher in buffering capacity. So as table indicates, in corn, buffering capacity, it is almost 150 milliequivalent per kilogram dry matter to 300. And in grasses and in the legumes, it is on the higher side. So corn or maize, it has higher potential for silage making in comparison to the others. Now, fodders. The fodders that are routinely used for preparation of the silage. So most commonly worldwide used fodder, it is the maize fodder. So maize, it is ensiled at two stages, either at the fodder, it is on the milking stage, and this stage, it is almost after the 55 to 60 days of sowing. And if we looking at the yield per acre, it is almost 160 to 200 quintals per acre. So second is the time of preservation. It is on the, then there is a half to 3/4 milk line stage. This stage, it comes almost 90 to 95 days of the sowing. At this stage, the energy value of fodder, it is much higher as compared to the simple fodder, which we prepare almost 55 to 60 days after sowing. You just go to the field, you just break one cob, cut one cob into pieces and lock into this white line. If it is between 1/2 to 3/4, it means this is the right time of preservation. So other fodders which are less common, sorghum, which is again harvested at milking stage. Other fodder is bajra, which is again harvested at milking stage. almost it is achieved in 45 to 55 days. Then oats, then ryegrass. So these are the few other fodders, but most commonly used fodder and silage making, it is the maize, or we can also say it corn worldwide. Maize is the best crop for the production of the silage. Now, first is the fodders. Second portion, we are talking about the type of infrastructures. Basically, there are 5 types of infrastructures. One is in the form of stacks. As you can see the pictures. So this is the basically stacks. But we generally do not recommend it to the farmers. The reason is that our principle of silage making is to break its contact with the air. And in this case, the 3 sides of stack, it is open to the air. So at farmer level, it is difficult to maintain the anaerobic conditions at this stage. So otherwise, we can also use this plastic sheet or stacks. It is called stack silo, and the quality of plastic sheet, it should be LDPP, that is low density polypropylene. So plastic should be low density polypropylene, plus its thickness, it also matters, because it should be minimum 0.1 mm thick, because this thickness is required to break the contact of silage with the air, plus the penetration of air from outside or from inside. That is, it helps to break the contact with oxygen and result in the proper preservation. So the quality of this plastic sheet, it is also important. So first type is the stack silo. So second is the bunker silo. Bunker silo, basically it is an elevated structure on the ground. This bunker, it has these 3 sides. There is a wall. Wall may be from bricks, it may be from wooden, it may be from metallic, just it is shown in the picture. So what is the aim of this wall? It has 2 functions. One is it prevented the entry of air, and second, it should withstand where the pressure of the tractor when you want to press this fodder with the tractor. So this should sufficient strength to withstand with the pressure of the tractor. So next is the floor. The floor of this bunker, it should be made up of concrete. So concrete flooring is there. And the slant of floor, it is also required almost 1 inch per 10 feet. It is because sometimes the silage, it contains the dry matter on the higher side. It means the effluent, it is produced. This is called slurry. And if the slant, proper slant is there, it comes out of the silo. Otherwise, on the base, it lead to some destruction of the or some damage to the fodder layer on the lower side. Next is the trench silo. This trench silo, either this is the earlier method, it is less expensive, and in this trench we often dug the trench on the ground side. Ground should be on the elevated floor. That's why when you dug this trench, so the size of trench, if it is 1 meter long, 1 meter its depth, and 1 meter height, almost it can accommodate 6 quintal of the fodder. So you can this type of structures you can make, and you can place this plastic sheet on the ground. So there is no drainage from this side, so it is better if you spread the almost 6-inch layer of wheat straw on the floor. So if there is some slurry, if there is some oozing of the water, so it should absorb on the surface of the wheat straw. So this is the plastic bag or plastic bag, or it's also called the you can say the tube silage. So this silage, these tubes, it is also available from the companies like Reliance. The cost of bag for 5 quintal silage, it is 650, and cost of bag for the 7 quintal silage, it is 1000. Otherwise, these tubes, these are available with the persons who are selling plastic in the city. So again, this this is our departmental pictures. So this tube, it is again made up of LDPP quality, low density polypropylene, plus the thickness is 0.1 mm, so that it can withstand with the, it can maintain the anaerobic environments. So this is the tower silo. This is not it is not still in India. This technology is abroad. So it is the almost 25 to 39 meters height and 6 to 9 meters in the width. But this is not so popular because a lot of machinery is required. Machinery is required because the loading of silage in these types of towers, it is very difficult. So it is not so popular. So there are basically 5 things. One is the stack silo. You can also make silage in the form of stacks, but in this case, there is difficult to maintain the conditions. Second is the bunker, which is most common nowadays in Punjab, but it is little bit expensive as compared to the trench silo. Then this plastic bags, Department of Animal Husbandry plus university, they also distribute these bags to the many farmers for same, and it is very useful. And the farmers where the 2 to 3 animals, it is very useful to the that farmers. The tower silo, it is not currently used in India. So how you can decide the size of silo? It is the next important point is how you can decide the size of a silo. It depends upon the 4 or 5 factors. First is the what is the herd size, number of animals to whom you want to feed. Second is the how much daily feed is required. Third is the number of feeding days. And last is the packing density. These are the 4 factors. For example, you want to feed 10 animals for 180 days. 10 animals at the rate of 20 kilogram silage per day, and it is for the 180 days. So 10 and to 20 and to 180. It becomes almost 360 quintals. So you want 360 quintals of silage to feed the 10 animals for 120 days at the dose rate of 20 kilogram silage per day. But the losses are also there. So at least minimum losses 10% are there, but I here consider the 20% losses. So if you add 20% added to the account for packing or storage losses, it means 360 quintal, 20% of 360 quintal, it is 72 quintal. So then you have to prepare 72 quintals more silage if you want to feed the animals for 6 months. So 360 plus 72, it becomes 432. So if you prepare the 432 quintal of silage, you are able to feed the animals, 10 animals for 6 months. It means we have to design or dig a trench for a fodder. It is equivalent to the 430 quintal. So in general, capacity of 1 cubic meter of space, it can accommodate 6 quintal of fodder. And how can you decide the dimensions? It is 432, which is our requirement, divided by the 6, it is the packing density. It becomes 72 cubic meter space is required. Then you divide the dimensions, and accordingly, for example, I divide here 12 meters long, 3 meters and 2 meters height. So this becomes the 72. So by this way, you can basically judge how much or guess how much the amount of silage required to feed the required number of the animals. Now coming to the ensiling technique. So technique, it involves 4 or 5 steps. First is hand cutting or machine cutting. So cutting of the green forage. Second, welting. This process depends upon the moisture content. Third is the chopping or chafing. Next is the filling or use of additives. Next is the sealing. And last step is the feeding. So first is the, before we come into the cutting, so most important thing is the dry matter. So ideal dry matter, it should be 30 to 35. It is not 20% as written in the slide. It is 30 to 35% at the ensiling time. So it is very important, because if the dry matter is on the lower side, for example, it's only 15%, the losses are very high. So we try to maintain the proper dry matter. Secondly, it helps in difficult packing plus it is difficult to expel the oxygen if the silage contains less dry matter. So how can you guess the dry matter content at farmer level, at the field level? So you just check the fodders, take it into your hand, and uh, uh, you can say keep it tightly almost for the 90 second, and it becomes a ball. So if the ball it holds the shape and there is a considerable free juice, it means that dry matter is below 25%. And if hold the shape but very little free juice, it means 25 to 30%. But more important, if the ball is formed, but when you open the hand, it falls apart slowly and there is no free juice. This is the most ideal for preparation of the silage. And if the ball aparts rapidly, it means the dry matter content, it is above 35%. So silage is will be prepared, but the quality may be poor. So this is the our photograph. When you squeeze and your hand, the ball is slightly ball is there, and the if you look at the palm, slightly green or the juice it is stick to the hand of the farmer. So this is the right stage. And you can also uh, test the this dry matter with the microwave. It is a microwave test that you can perform at your farm level or at your house level. You just measure the 100 gram of fodder and keep it in the microwave for 1 to 2 minutes. And after that, you again keep it for the 30 seconds, again keep it for 30 seconds until the weight remains the same. And then you again deduct this final weight from the fresh weight, divide by fresh weight and 200, it gives the how much dry matter is present in the fodder. So next is the welting. So if it contains more dry matter, then what is other option? You want to clear your field. So option is you welt it for 1 to 2 hours as depending upon the intensity of the light and the amount of the moisture in the crop. So next is the chaffing. So after harvesting, you chaff into the pieces, and it should be between 1 to 3 centimeter. Earlier it is said that it is 2 to 5 or 3 inches, but now it is 1 to 3 centimeter mostly. So 80% of chaff length, it is 1 to 3 centimeter. You can say 1 to 3/4 almost inch, and 20% if it is more than 3 centimeter, between 3 to 5 centimeter, it is optimum for the production of the silage. So if this length, it also depends upon the dry matter, but do not need to go into the depth. The size should be, it is between 1 to 3% for 80% of the forage, and for 20% it is between 3 to 5 centimeter for the better quality silage. So there are many farmers ask many questions what they want to this silage. So what additives should they use to enhance the quality of the silage? So there are many additives. If we look at the theory, there are the bacterial inoculants. This is used when the dry matter is high, and enzymes when the crops are low in sugar, NPN compounds when the low protein, acids again when low dry matter silage, and sugar supplements again when this crops are low in sugar. These are the few indications, but we are talking about the practical things. So silage additives, 2-3 companies have their silage additives. One is the Camel, from Camel, it is the silage saver, and this contains the acids, because this silage is preserved by the production of the acids. And if you supply acid from the outside, you supplement or add the acid from the outside, the anaerobic plus the acidic conditions, it maintain early. It means early maintenance of the acidic conditions means the quality of silage is better. So silage saver is available. The dose is 0.5 kilogram per ton of the fresh fodder. On the basis of the, it is not on the basis of dry matter, it is on the basis of fresh fodder. So 0.5 kilogram per ton of wet silage. Next is the, from the this Neospar company, it is Silatic. Silatic, earlier This camel silage saver, it contains acids. Next is it contains bacteria and enzymes. So there are mainly 3 enzymes, that is lactobacillus, enterococcus, and pediococcus. So here is also, if we looking into the theory, there is a concept. These 3, they are the homofermenters. Homofermenter means they produce similar type of the end product, that is the lactic acid. But this lactobacillus buccineri, it is heterofermenter. It means it produces lactic acid and then convert lactic acid to the acetic acid and carbon dioxide. So this is important. It also contains the enzymes. So what is the dose? It is 10 gram per ton of the silage. You can see per ton of the fresh forage. So just dissolve 1 liter of the water and spray on the 1 ton of the forage. The price is almost between MRP is 632, otherwise it is 5 to 550 its price, and the packing is almost 100 gram. So next is these are the basically, it contains only the heterofermenter. It is the lactobacillus buccineri, and when you apply at the dose rate of 1 gram per ton of the silage, it gives minimum concentration of 1000 CFU, that's a colony forming unit per gram of the fodder. So it helps in the better preservation of the silage. The name is Silage F400 inoculants. It is from the Dilwal company. So sometimes farmer may ask, or in foreign countries, they also use the grains. Grains should be used in the ground form. And why grains are used? It's not to, you can say it is not used to for better fermentation, because the starch of grains, it is not available or not much fermented to the much extent. These are used to the there are 2 objectives. One is to increase the dry matter content of the silage. If silage contains less dry matter, you can use certain grains in ground form, and the maximum 8 to 10%, or you can say 80 to 100 kilogram per ton of the silage. One, it increases the dry matter content of the silage, and secondly, it increases the energy content. So molasses mainly, it is mainly used in the legume silage. It's not used in the, it is not required in the corn silage. And how can you use it? What is the dose? 4% for legumes and 2% for the grasses. It depends upon the sugar content of the material. But if the dry matter content is less than 30 or 35%, avoid using this molasses, because it results in the more losses. Some farmers also used common salt, some are used urea 0.5 to 1%, some are using ammonia. Ammonia using it is very dangerous, because it also causes irritation to eyes, it also causes the liver problem, and it is very difficult to, or hazardous to handle this ammonia. So farmers are using urea, and the reason to use urea, it is to increase the protein value of the silage, but at the meantime it also resists the lowering of the pH. So pH is problem in case of the urea when you use their supplements. So after this, additives, be coming to the sealing part. So sealing part, as a thumb rule, shorter the material is chopped and more dense it can be packed, less air inside the stack. So standard size of packing, it is the 7 quintal and 1 meter cube. But under practical conditions, normally we attain the 6 quintals, as we discussed earlier. It is 6 quintal per meter cube of the space. So these few pictures, it is the tractor mount, this packing. This is the when there is no facility or no provision for tractor to press this silage, you can use this drum. It has capacity almost 200 liters. You fill it with the water and then press by rolling it on the surface of this silage. So one thing I miss, how you can apply these additives. You dissolve the additives in the water, then you just spread one layer and spray on it, then second layer you again spray on it, and this type you proportionally spray all this dissolved, you can say, additives on layer by layer silage up to the top. Then this is our departmental photo. So try one more important thing, try to complete the process of silage making within 1 to 2 days. Try. It may be difficult under field conditions. Sometimes we also take them more than 2-3 days, but if you preserve it within 2 days, its quality will be better as compared to when it takes long time. So after filling, you have to cover it. If you cover it with certain things, it prevent the entry of air and losses are very less. But if it remains uncovered, see here losses are up to 32%. To either in our conditions, some people they cover it with a certain mud or mud and wheat straw mixture. Otherwise, in foreign conditions, they almost place 20 tires, almost 100 square meter space. Now, what science is behind this silage making? And phase 1, this phase 1, it is the aerobic phase. Under this phase, the oxygen is inside the fodder. So that oxygen, with that oxygen, there is a burning of carbohydrates, carbon dioxide, and water is produced. It means mostly for first 1 day, there is a loss of the dry matter. And second phase, which is called lag phase, here it is the total bacteria that are aerobic in nature. Here is a facultative that can grow in oxygen, presence of oxygen, and in the absence of the oxygen. So it's again for 24 hours or maximum up to 2 days. And then phase 3, so phase 1 is for 1 day, then for 2 days, and from 2 to 14 days, this is the third phase in which the lactic acid bacteria grows. It converts the sugars into the lactic acid, and this production of lactic acid, it drops the pH up to 3.7 to 4.8. And fourth phase is the stabilization phase. Under this phase, further there is production of lactic acid to small extent, and pH is stabilized between 3.8 to 4.2, which is ideal pH for the production of the silage. So the proper lactic acid production, it depends on the mainly 3 factors. Number 1, number of lactic acid bacteria present on the crop. Second, amount of the fermentable sugars, and third is the absence of air. If you maintain these 3 factors, the silage will be prepared, will be of good quality or better quality. So losses, there are different losses at different stages, and you can assume that it may be up to 20%. Then quality wise, the smell of the silage, you almost know it is a vinegar-like, or the color, it is greenish yellow color, or you can say, then after that, there are certain quality parameters. When a farmer, when you come to the farmer field, they show you some reports and how you can guess or judge the report of the silage. So one is the dry matter. So dry matter is the most important, both for quality and for production level of your animals. Dry matter should be between 30 to 35%. For example, if it is less, suppose it is 20% dry matter, it means if you offer 40 kilogram silage to the animal and it contains 20% dry matter, it means total dry matter intake, it is 8 kilogram. If the silage contains 10.5 kilo joule of energy, then 8 into 10.5, it is almost 84 joules of energy. And take of energy is 84 joules. If the dry matter of silage, it is 25%, then if we calculate in the same way, the input is almost 105 joules of energy. It means with same silage, in second case, 21 joules of more energy take in comparison to the first silage. So the dry matter of silage, it is very, very important, because the dry matter intake capacity of the animal, it is limited. So if the silage contains more water, the dry matter actual intake, it is decreases. Next is the pH. What about the pH? So pH, it indicates basically how the quality of your preserved silage. It should be between 3.8 to 4.2. This is ideal. It is for the non-legume silages. In case of legume, it is 4.2 to 4.8 because legume silage, they contain more proteins and more minerals due to more buffering capacity. Buffering capacity resists the lowering of the pH. So basically, it should be 3.8 to 4.2 pH between, and if it is lower than 3.8, it means you have to consider the supplementation. You have to, if you feed this silage to the animals, there may be acidosis, and to try to avoid this rumen acidosis, you have to supplement the feed with the buffers. And if the pH it is above 4.2, it means the dry matter of the crop at the time of silage, it is on the higher side than 35%. Now, ammonical nitrogen, it is the best indicator of the silage fermentation. That is the ammonical nitrogen. So how it is best indicator? Because it shows the proportion, how much protein is breakdown, how much protein. If the protein more, breakdown of the protein is more, then more the ammonical nitrogen is produced. And if it exceeds from the 10% of the total CP, it means your quality of silage, it is on the poor side. It means there is lowering of pH takes more time as compared to the normal time. So it should be, if below 5%, it is excellent. If it is between 5 to 10%, it is good. Otherwise, the silage is of poor quality. Next is the lactic acid. So lactic acid is the major acid. It decides the pH of the this silage. It is the major portion, means it is 65 to 70% of the total silage acids. For poor silage, it is below 4%. If it is 4% or above 4%, it is good. So if there is low lactic acid, it means there is a restriction of the fermentation, either due to the dry matter content is on higher side, or there is more production of butyric acid, or certain or some, up to some extent, the oxygen exposure is there. Then testing of silage quality. Next is the acetic acid. So acetic acid, it is very important. It should be between 1 to 3% of the dry matter, and butyric acid, it is not required. It should be less than 0.1%, and if it's on zero side, it is better. So acetic acid is 1 to 3%. If acetic acid it is more than 5%, then the intake of silage by the animals, it is decreases. So the higher than 5% the acetic acid, it negatively correlate with the intake of the dry matter intake of the silage or silage intake. So it should be between 1 to 3%. But sometimes you have used this heterofermenters. These heterofermenters, they convert the lactic acid further into the acetic acid. So under these conditions, it is on the higher side, 3 to 5%, and between 3 to 5%. But in this case, you cannot call it this is silage of the poor quality. Next, as a nutshell, some features: it is dry matter between 30 to 40%, pH 30 to 35%, and pH it is 3.5 to 4 or 3.8 to 4.2. Then lactic acid more than 4%, butyric acid it is less than 0.1 or 0.13%, and ammonical nitrogen it is better if between 2 to 10% of the total nitrogen. Then how to remove the silage? So it is not only preparation. At each step you have to take some precautions. And how to take? So please see the pictures. In this case, the farmer, they are using the front loader. It works from the you can say bottom towards the height. So it means in this case there is more exposure of the silage bunk towards the air. So in this case, this oxygen it penetrate into the silage. This is the thermal sensitive image. So it means heat is produced. If heat is produced, it means burning of the carbohydrates. So this is a machine which is called this facer. It cut the silage from top to bottom. If you have no such machine, try to use this type of weapon and equipment. You just cut. So you have to cut the silage perpendicular to this ground area. Next, the silage quality deteriorate rapidly during the feed out. Exposed silage surface is open to air for a long period of time. Yeast and mold, it become active. Silage heating is there, so dry matter losses are there. So you have to remove the minimum 6 inch daily 6 inch layer of the silage from the face, so that the rest of the silage, it should maintain its quality. So silage face management, do not keep the silage loose. So just keep the gravel bags here so that no this air it penetrate through this sheet. Then feeding of the silage. So now generally silage, that is maize silage, it is high in energy, moderate in protein, it is 8 to 9%, and also low in the minerals. So how much you can feed to your animals as a thumb rule. Otherwise, it all depends on the TMR, how you can prepare the TMR. So what is the ratio of roughage to the concentrate? But here we are talking about the as a thumb rule. Earlier we are talking about the how much fodder you want to feed. It is at 10% of the body weight. And similar sense, the silage, it is 6% of the body weight. If the body weight of animal, it is 400 kilogram, you can feed them up to 24 kilogram. If the body weight is 500 kilogram, you can feed up to 30 kilogram at the rate of 6%. So in case of high yield, you have to offer the concentrated mixture 20 to 25% CP depending upon the production status of the animal. And if you feed the silage that contain grains, it means you prepare the silage at 90 to 95 days after the sowing. So what you have to consider as a thumb rule, you just reduce the 20% of the concentrate. For example, if earlier farmer is feeding 5 kilogram of concentrate, you just reduce 20%. You then offer 4 kilogram instead of the 5 kilogram. So start the silage gradually. So as a thumb rule, it is 20 to 30 kilogram silage per animal per day. Avoid to, or you can say, unbred heifers could be fed silage only if they are fed high protein feeds. Otherwise, if silage contains more energy, the fat is deposited in the udder and it affect the production quality. Then feed the silage at least 4 hours before milking to avoid any foul smell from the milk. So damage or discolored silage. So do not use, sometimes silages, there are, you can say, algae, fungus, mold growth is there. It means mold is there, fungus is there, it means there is a production of the toxins. And the toxins, it negatively correlate with the production, with the reproduction, with the health, even mastitis, and the many diseases. So avoid this. Sometimes to avoid some steps to avoid the problem of mycotoxin in silage. So one is the harvest at recommended maturity level. Secondly, at adequate dry matter. Then rapid elimination of oxygen. Then use the sharp knives at harvest to enhance packing. And then cleaning bunker prior to use, sealing silos rapidly. So sealing should be, or the silage should be made between 1 to 2 days. Then adequately weigh the silage. So cover the silage, it is more than 20 tires per square feet of the area. Then if you can use the silage additives, there is earlier decrease in the acid. So if the acids are produced earlier, there is earlier decrease in the pH, and it is best preserved before the production of any other bacteria or the fungus for production of the mycotoxins. So if you can use silage additive, the quality of the silage, it is better. So inspect the bag or bunker regularly for holes. Feeding out rate, it is 6 inch per day from the case to maintain its quality. Then you just cut the silage perpendicular and then clean the feed bunks and discard the contaminated silage before you want to feed. If the silage contains toxins, if possible, withdraw the silage that contain toxins from the ration. If it contains toxin to the lesser amount, then dilute it with some amount of fodder or some other good quality silage. You can use the mycotoxins, toxin binders that are available from the various companies. Try to ensure the dietary antioxidants, vitamin A, vitamin E, selenium, and zinc, and ensure that the ration contains all the required nutrients that is required by the animals. So this is all about the topic. So now the topic is open for discussion. So you may ask question, you can ask question, and I will try to give you answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hundal. We have ADOs from our department in this webinar. And I think the first question is from Dr. Harban Singh. He is from audit wing of this department. How paddy straw is used in this process?
Okay. Paddy straw, some people in the ICR, they are research on the effect that you can say they want to add this paddy straw into the maize silage or into the maize crop. Basically, there is no fun to add the paddy straw into the maize because there is a dilution of contents of the maize. So if you want to add this paddy straw along with, you can say, separately, you can feed it separately with the maize, not you include as a part of this maize, because if your animals, it is of higher quality or good potential, the use of the silage with the rice straw, it contains less energy. So you have to compromise the production of status or the production potential of your animals. The second method to use this rice straw, it is you can prepare the silage of this rice straw either with the fruit based, it is citrus based, or you can also make it with the potato, color potato, or you can say on the damaged potato. So these when you want to add or when you want to prepare the silage with this fruit juice based or fruit based or the cull fruit or cull potatoes, the ratio of paddy straw to the juice based, it is 30% rice straw and 70% fruit juice based. You can use rice straw up to 30%. So this is not, it's a thumb rule. Otherwise, you have to mix the rice straw and the base in such a ratio, the total or the target diameter of the material, it should be between 30 to 35%. इदा मिक्स करना कि 30 ਤੋਂ 35% ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਡਰਾਈ ਮੈਟਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਬਟੇਨ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ। ਅਦਰਵਾਈਜ਼ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੇ ਸਟੈਂਡਰਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਰੇਸ਼ੋ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ 70 to 30%, 70% ਜੂਸ ਬੇਸਡ ਔਰ 30% ਰਾਈਸ ਸਟ੍ਰॉ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ।
Sir, next question is it necessary to add additives, or how can we assess that we have to add the additives?
If you cut the silage, this maize crop at the optimum maturity level, at that point it contains almost all the necessary fermentable sugars as well as the load of the lactic acid bacteria. So at that you can say no need to add that time, no need to add the additives. But additives, they are the acids or they are the lactic acid bacteria. So if you add these to the silage, definitely it improves the quality, because if the number of bacteria are more, the production of lactic acid is on the better way. And secondly, if the you add additives, then the maintain of the SJ conditions, it is early as compared to the silage without acids. So it improves the quality, but it is not necessary to add the additives at all the times.
Which variety of maize is most suitable for silage making?
Nowadays, basically, university varieties 1006, it is better from PHU side, but on private, there are many varieties are available. So we do not here test the different varieties, but there are many varieties, and even almost all the varieties. Basically, what is the difference between the grain variety and the silage variety? There is the grain quality basically, and this is in the foreign countries. Here we are not studying the basically grain quality, how the grain quality, the starch in the grain, or the you can say how it helps to improve the quality. Otherwise, all the varieties are good. And last 1 year ago, we tested the. I have a project from the Lima Grain, which is a 4th largest company in the world, and they gave me the 10 different varieties. And under that varieties, this is the BL4121 is the best at that time. I do not know at what name they launched it in the field. So that variety is better. And in our conditions, J1006, it is better from our university PHU.
Next question is how to balance the energy requirements of animal in case of high or low quantity starch?
So basically this not deals with the today's topic. Otherwise, on TMR basis, there are TMR contains 70% carbohydrates, almost 18% protein, 6% fat, and 6% minerals. So out of the 70% carbohydrates, it is, you can say 28 to 34% NDF is there, and rest is 5 to 10% sugars, and 90 to 24% almost starch. So if you test the starch of the all available ingredients or the total TMR components, and you can easily judge how much starch is remained. And if you are adding the these grains, maize grains, so if you add these maize grains in grinded form, in ground form, the starch becomes more available as compared to when you add these grains and you can say in the coarse form. So add these grains in the ground form, fine ground food. You want to add the 40 kilogram grains to the animals, 20 kilogram and grounded form, and it makes the starch available to the animals as much as it is required. Otherwise, we can calculate it on the Excel sheet or something else.
So if we leave aside maize, which other 2-3 fodders are best suitable for silage making?
So you can say some people, they are preparing also from the sorghum. Last year ਅਸੀਂ wheat ਦੀ silage ਵੀ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੈਗੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੇ wheat ਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ head stage ਤੇ ਬਣਾਈ ਆ, that gives very good quality silage. So wheat can also be used as the silage. Otherwise, oats and bajra, these are two next crops that can be used as the silage. So ryegrass, it is also one of the option, but it is, worldwide it is considered that if ryegrass it mixed with the 3:1 ratio with the legume crop, it gives the better results.
Okay. In bunker silo, what type of floor is required, and taper? What should be the taper?
1 inch 1 ਇੰਚ 10 ਫੀਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਢਲਾਣ ਦੇਣੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਕੰਕਰੀਟ ਫਲੋਰ ਹੋਊਗਾ, ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਗਿਵਸ ਬੈਟਰ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟਸ.
One of the doctors have inquired for your mobile number, so if you can share your mobile number.
My number is 94176 18413. 94176 18413. जसपाल सिंह नाज जी.
दोबारा रिपीट करिए.
94 176 18413.
18413.
Jaspal Singh.
So I have shared his number in the chat. So anybody who needs his number, he can note it from the chat. Next question is, can you send this recorded version of us? Yes, I will send the recorded version to anybody. Just give. I will upload this video in our official YouTube channel in a day or two, so you can get this recorded version from our official YouTube channel, Punjab Animal Husbandry. Next is, please guide about haylage.
So basically here is a term used when when it contains then dry matter is on the higher side basically. But for haylage is the in between, you can say hay and this silage. So it is better if you preserve the fodder proper at the proper dry matter. It is always better.
Next question is, can we feed silage only, or we have to add green fodder to silage for better milk productions?
Milk production, it depends upon the balance of nutrients and nutrient intake per day by the animal. It not depends upon the whether you feed the fodder or whether you feed the this silage. If you provide all the nutrients, required number of vitamins, minerals, starch, sugar, NDF, ADF, if you provide all the nutrient in the balanced amount, it is for the better milk. It is not a question of silage or the fodder.
Next question is, I think this is repetition of the previous question. As Dr. Hundal has suggested, the J1006, this is a variety of PAU, and it's best suitable for silage making in maize. Otherwise, there are private seed producers. Their varieties are also used in Punjab. I think is not authorized to say their name on this webinar. So thanks very much. I think this. What should be haylage moisture? Is there any haylage dryer in India or Punjab?
Pardon?
What should be haylage moisture?
The dry matter is almost 45 or above. It means it contains 50 to 55% moisture level. So if you are talking about the high yield animals, then try to avoid haylage. So it is better if you can use the silage, because the quality of nutrients is always matter.
Thank you, Dr. Hundal, for a very nice, very informative presentation, and for very nice your background. I think you're still in the university, and the background, it's very appealing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I would like to thank all our participants because 3:30 ਵਜੇ ਛੁੱਟੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ 3:30 ਵਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਵੈਬੀਨਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ। ਸੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਬੜੀ ਭੱਜ ਦੌੜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਸ ਵੈਬੀਨਾਰ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਸੋ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਜੀ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਾਫੀ ਡਾਕਟਰਸ ਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਵੀ ਆਏ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਟਾਈਮ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਲੇਟ ਹੋਵੇ, ਪਰ ਦੇਖੋ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਟਾਈਮ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਉਹ 5 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਹੈ। ਸੋ 3:30 ਵਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਆਪਣਾ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਨਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲ ਹੋਏਗਾ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਫਰਾਈਡੇ ਨੂੰ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੁਣ ਫਰਾਈਡੇ ਕਮਿੰਗ ਫਰਾਈਡੇ ਥੋੜੇ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਬਾਅਦ, ਉਸ ਦਿਨ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਹੈ ਫਾਰਮਾਸਿਊਟੀਕਲ ਪ੍ਰੈਪਰੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਯੂਜ਼ਡ ਇਨ ਦਾ ਫੀਲਡ। ਸੋ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜਾ ਕੁਝ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਾਰਮਾਸਿਊਟੀਕਲ ਪ੍ਰੈਪਰੇਸ਼ਨਸ, ਕੁਝ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਾਈਂਡ 'ਚੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਲ ਗਈਆਂ। ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਫਰੈਸ਼ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸੈਣੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੈਜੈਂਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਵੈਬੀਨਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੁੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਵੈਟਨੇਰੀਅਨਸ, ਜੁੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਸਾਡੇ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫਾਡਰ ਵਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਏਡੀਓਸ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ। ਵਿਸ਼ੇਸ਼ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਵਾਈਸ ਚਾਂਸਲਰ ਗੜਵਾਸੂ ਤੇ ਡੀਨ ਐਕਸਟੈਂਸ਼ਨ, ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟਰ ਐਕਸਟੈਂਸ਼ਨ, ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟਰ ਰਿਸਰਚ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਤੇ ਬੜੀ ਹੀ ਜਲਦੀ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਨਗੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵੈਬੀਨਾਰਸ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਲੋਕਡਾਊਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੇ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਗੜਵਾਸੂ ਦੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਗੜਵਾਸੂ ਦੀ ਕੋਲੈਬੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਸੀਰੀਜ਼ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਵੈਬੀਨਾਰਸ ਦੀ। ਸੋ ਫਰਾਈਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਵੈਬੀਨਾਰ ਤੇ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਮਿਲਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਹੁੰਦਲ ਦਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੜੇ ਬਿਜ਼ੀ ਸ਼ਡਿਊਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਬੜੇ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਕਾਫੀ ਬਿਜ਼ੀ ਸ਼ਡਿਊਲ 'ਚ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਮਾਂ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੈਜੈਂਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਰੱਖੀ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਫਿਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਡਾਕਟਰ ਖੋਸਲਾ ਜੀ ਵਿਸ਼ੇਸ਼ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟਰੇਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬੜੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਬੜੇ ਬਿਜ਼ੀ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਵੈਬੀਨਾਰ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਇਸ ਵੈਬੀਨਾਰ ਦੀ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਜੀ। ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਜੀ।
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸਰ, ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ।